everyone! Welcome to the combo wrap-up, where we're wrapping up Tail Inferno for both May and June 2026. And I'm looking fresh in my modern elf type vibes after some good old fun at AvCon today. So I hope you enjoy this fun and whimsy outfit. Look, not a lot happened on Tail Inferno in May due to me being everywhere other than home for most of the month. I was also really sick twice. Oh, it was also my birthday. Your girl's 30 now, which might surprise you, maybe. Maybe it won't. I don't know. What does this look like to you? No, I will not have an existential crisis about it. However, not a whole lot ended up happening in June either, but that's a whole other story. So with the small pieces in each month, we've basically got enough for one kind of whole month of content, I guess, if you mish them all together. So let's get right into it. In May, I published one video. That's it. But also, that's okay. This video was episode 17 of my Dragon Age Origins playthrough, where chaos ensued with the combo of the Brazilian forest revenants and that classic hermit character. You can go watch that episode on the Tail Inferno YouTube channel. We then smashed into June with a series review of the Black Death duology by Minette Walters, which was both a written piece and a video. You can read the series review and check out the video on either the Tail Inferno website or the YouTube channel. I also published 2 episodes of my favourite purple boy, Spyro. These were episodes 2 and 3 of Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage Reignited. The second episode saw me 100% complete Summer Forest and dodge bombs in Sophia. And the third episode was a huge celebration for the announcement of the new Spyro game, Spyro The Realm Beyond. I donned my finest garb of purple Spyro paraphernalia and got right into the worlds and autumn plains, which included struggling with the trolley and having trouble with the trolley and good old Bob the Flag Keeper. You can go and watch both of these episodes on the Tail Inferno YouTube channel. For those of you who are waiting for episode 18 of my Dragon Age Origins playthrough, don't worry. The next episode is in the process of being edited as we speak and will most likely be the first video out in July, if you don't include this wrap up as a video in July. The funny thing about what I finished reading in May and June is that compared to what was published on Tail Inferno, I read more in May and nothing in June. Talk about a flip. But yes, you did hear that right. I didn't finish any books in June. To speak openly, my mental health just wasn't in the right space for it. I was really just trying to get through each day as best as I could, and there were times picking up a book and reading felt a little bit too much. And that's okay. Nonetheless, I finished reading 3 books in May. This was probably helped by the hours spent away from home, on planes and elsewhere, where reading helped fill the time in between work commitments. The first book I finished reading in May was The Family Chow by Lan Samantha Chang. While this wasn't a book that I loved completely from beginning to end, there were parts of it I did really enjoy. And that included the interesting family dynamic that explored conflict and betrayal while interweaving the Asian American experience. It was a refreshingly different read, and I rated it a solid 3 out of 5 stars. I then moved on to While Paris Slept by Ruth Druitt, which I finished on the 19th of May 2026. This was a really powerful and thought-provoking story with well-written characters that truly captivated me. I also enjoyed that each character's perspective was written in a slightly different way, emphasizing each of their different experiences while also connecting us to the relationships and their inner feelings in different ways. However, the ending was a little bit disappointing for me, so I gave it a 3.75 out of 5 stars. Then, on the 27th of May 2026, I finished my very first horror book, The Haunting of Kenmore Asylum by J.J. Carpenter. I have a very active imagination, so going into this one, I was a bit worried. However, I ended up being not too bad with it. This book is a combo of horror and historical fiction, set at the real location of Kenmore Asylum in New South Wales, Australia. It was a really cool journey across 3 different time periods, and while I didn't really enjoy the 2021 storyline as much as the 1950s and the 1910s, it was fun to read something different than what I usually do. And I learned that maybe I'm more resilient with horror fiction than I thought. I gave this book a 3.75 out of 5 stars. As always, with each of these books, I published an impressions before reading and feelings after reading short video on both Facebook and Instagram, so go visit those channels if you want to go watch them. I began reading Molten Flux by Jonathan Weiss at the tail end of May and recently finished it, but it doesn't count because that's July. You can go watch my impressions before reading video that was recorded at the end of May on Instagram and Facebook, and follow along to see what books I get through in July. And if you go check out my The Storygraph or Goodreads accounts, you'll notice I'm also reading other books on the side. These aren't your kind of typical fictional books. These are some books I got as part of some management training I did over the course of the first half of this year. I love learning new things, and leadership is an area that I am professionally developing myself in. So maybe I'll talk about these books? I don't know. Watch this space. Look, to be honest, I do really hope I can get back into the swing of things on here. As mentioned earlier, my mental health took a huge nosedive in June for a variety of reasons, so I found it really difficult to find the motivation to do the things that I love. My focus was getting up, going to work, and then going to sleep. Probably not the best combo, let's be real. However, through sheer will, I have turned a corner through some very intent-filled, purposeful actions I'm calling my reprioritization framework. Very businessy, very smart sounding, much wow. This has me reprioritizing certain parts of my life, ensuring that what I love and find joy in are prioritized first, and what aren't that important in the grand scheme of things are things that are not prioritized. Part of this is prioritizing my creativity, and part of the creativity is sharing my storytelling adventures with you. So if we put 2 and 2 together, content should return back to some kind of normalcy. I mentioned earlier that I was editing episode 18 of my Dragon Age Origins story analysis playthrough, so that is likely to be the next video out on the YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe to keep an eye out for that. I've also got my first story prompt video content thing in the works, which really is a great excuse for me to get to write creatively more often, while also hopefully getting you all involved as well. Now that I've published the series review for the Black Death duology by Manette Walters, the next books for me to review are the 3 books that make up the Tethered Citadel trilogy by David Hare. I absolutely loved Hare's Moontide Quartet series and had high expectations for the Tethered Citadel trilogy, so I look forward to diving into reviewing this series and each of the books individually. And of course, there may be some content related to throwback book reviews or some 101s or other related blogs and vlogs. All in all, if you keep checking back at the website regularly, following along on social media, or subscribing to the YouTube channel, you'll be able to keep track of all the things that are happening on Tale Inferno. I have linked it all in the blog content as well as in the description of this video. Thank you so much for joining me in wrapping up both May and June 2026. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I've already mentioned the whole subscribing thing, but like, if you don't want to miss out on videos and stuff, it's important that you subscribe to join the journey and ignite the story. And with that, here's to igniting the story in July 2026. Have a great day, have a great night, and a great rest of your week, whenever and wherever I am finding you. See ya!